So today we're going to take a look at the new iPhone SE 3rd gen that Apple just released. Possibly the last phone with the physical Touch ID home button. Well, unless they add Touch ID to the power button like the iPad. But I guess it doesn't make it a home button. I will tell you what I think about it, what is new with this version, and what the benefits are of upgrading to this phone. And more crucially, who this phone is actually for and should you really upgrade. And no, it's not for the people who want to get into the Apple ecosystem. If you want to upgrade to these phones and are willing to wait a few months, I will show you a way to get this phone for much less. So this unboxing was really uneventful, so there was no reason to really bore you with the whole thing, so I just sped it up in the beginning. Nothing has really changed with the iPhone packaging in the past several years, so you'll basically see phone, little cable, and yay, stickers, and SIM unlock tool and things like that, so there's really nothing to unbox. So the final thing you saw me add was a screen protector, and I've been using Invisible Shield by Zag for years. Not sponsored or anything, I've just been liking them. A little bit pricey, but they seem to hold up very well. The best time to add it was right before I started dirtying up the screen. I just usually found that smudges, once they get on, they never really want to get off. So I figured the best time is once I peel the initial cellophane that Apple has, put it on then. So the one frustrating thing with Apple is that they are not providing chargers, and of course every other company has followed their lead. Most people upgrading from the original SE will be coming from a charger that has USB-A. So I have no issue with them not including a charger in general. For users like me that have a ton of tech gadgets, I have a full supply of every conceivable type of charger, so I was really not affected. But what they should have done is eliminate the charger from the packaging as they did, because yeah, it's a good thing for the environment, but have a separate charger that people can add on during their order for the same price. But if you don't want the charger, cut like $10 or $15 off the price. So for $429 that this phone cost, add on a charger if you'd like to, or if not, get the phone for $415. It just seems greedy, since you're gonna save money on less packaging and by removing the obvious charger itself, so you're pocketing the savings instead of passing it on. Alright, so here's the iPhone SE. It's pretty much an iPhone 8. Nothing really spectacular about it. Feels about the same. Feels about same heft and density. Feels pretty good in the hand, actually. It's not bad. So this one was going to end up with my mom, and I got her the Starlight, which I don't really think she cares. And so basically, like I said, it's an iPhone 8 with improved guts. It does come with the A15 CPU, which is the same as the latest flagship iPhone 13 as I have here, as well as it's got 4 gigabytes of RAM, so you're getting a device that should last you a minimum 5 years worth of software updates. This one does have 5G, which guarantees we'll have network access for years, but it doesn't have the millimeter wave, which I don't think is necessarily a limitation. Millimeter wave has limited range and could be a battery hog, so it's probably not best for this to be on this particular phone. So it does have the same 4.7-inch display, the same 12 megapixel rear and 7 megapixel front camera. There is supposedly an improvement in the battery chemistry that will give it a couple of extra hours, but I think that's more to do with the A15 than the battery itself, but that's about it. The A15 allows the user to use some of the newer camera modes, such as photographic styles and deep fusion. But honestly, I'm not sure how much a user who purchases this particular phone would care about that. So since the SE has the same A15 Bionic CPU that the iPhone 13 has, let's run the benchmark on both the 13 Pro Max and the SE. Now, this is probably going to be an unfair test, but it could be a good indicator to see how the same CPU performs on different devices. I personally don't give benchmarks a ton of weight. Benchmarks are a good tool to show relative performance, but at least for me, they're a horrible metric for user experience. And benchmarks could be biased, depends on how they're coded for different CPUs and different environments. But again, they're a decent metric. It's just one tool to use. I mean, honestly, you could put a Ferrari engine in a Honda Civic, but I'm not sure the driving experience is going to be great. So I'll start Geekbench on both of these devices and let's just see what it's going to give us. As you can see here, this does have the 4 gigabytes. I know it says 3.79, but it is 4 gigabytes of RAM, just like the 13 Max is 6 gigabytes of RAM. So let's just run the CPU benchmark on each of these. I'll just run this and run this. And so, as expected, the benchmark scores are very respectable. It was obviously not going to beat the Pro Max, but the CPU performance is really good. So the typical user on this phone will feel like they have a very snappy and responsive device. So I've been using this for a few hours, so other than having to adjust to the screen size, it's been just as fast as mine. It works pretty good. I never felt that I was limited in any way in terms of performance, so it will feel like a significant upgrade from the first gen SE. Now, if you have the second gen, I would probably hold off. There is really nothing here that will improve your experience. If you have the SE2 and you really want to get this one because you're thinking this will be the last home button iPhone and you want to extend that lifetime, I would wait a few months and then start monitoring the Apple refurbished store for this phone. Apple is the only store I will buy refurbished items from. When Apple takes in an item and sells it as refurbished, they're pretty much going to change the whole display, outside, everything, and put in a new battery. So other than the logic board, they're literally a new device. They just can't legally call it that, and you could probably save $50 to $100. I bought my mom's first gen SE this way in 2016, and it still worked for her, but she was due for a new one, and I wasn't willing to wait. I also bought iPads this way, and I have an iPad that my kid has now, and I've had that since 2015. Been fine, and it's taken a little bit of a beating. I've never had an issue with refurbished items from Apple. Plus, they come with a year warranty when you get them. So, who is this phone really for? This phone is not for people who want to join the Apple ecosystem. That is absolutely wrong in my opinion. While there might be a small percentage of people that buy a phone like this for that, 99% of people who are joining the iPhone world will go to T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T, trade in their phone and use one of the many free Phone on Us programs to buy one, and probably buy a base iPhone 13. No one will buy the SE unless they really, really, really want the home button. To me, this phone is the frustration eliminator. My mom has been using the first gen SE and loves it. The home button is a comfort for her and myself. When she can't figure something out and I'm on the phone trying to help her, the first thing is to always have her hit the home button so we can start from a baseline. Teaching someone non-technical something new is usually an exercise in frustration. I lost count the number of times I was trying to get her just to get to the control center, and all I could hear her saying is, "I'm swiping and nothing is displaying." I'm not unique here. Everyone that has to deal with non-techie people have the same experience. So this phone is a comfort device I can give to my mom and know that she will immediately know how to use it without fear and of course without frustration from me. So this is who this phone is for. Check out my Apple playlist here if you want more reviews, and click on this video here if you want to learn how I store all of my docs online, paper or digital, without fear of being hacked. Catch you in the next one.